Hi, Maria here. Welcome to my channel. The holiday season is upon us. I don't know about you guys, but there's always a ton of events to go to. So I wanted to share with you the fragrances that I would wear for different types of holiday occasions. So we've got formal, we've got like Christmas parties, office parties, kid parties, all sorts of parties. And so I've got some fragrances for each one of those. Now, before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button. It would be amazing to have you part of the Weird and Wonderful family. We are a fantastic bunch and you need to be a part of it. And without further ado, let's get into this. The first occasion that I always think of is the formal occasion. It's the one I dream of going to and never have. I see it in the movies. I know it must exist, but it's that formal occasion where you're dressed up, you're wearing like a full-length gown, everybody's in tuxedos. I always think of it in New York, going to a brownstone in a limousine. I pull up, I walk up these stairs, walk into the foyer. I can hear a quartet playing, maybe a little bit of jazz, maybe some classical music, but everyone's dressed to the nines. There's a fire roaring, everyone's milling about, hobnobbing with the who's who. I've never hobnobbed with the who's who, but I can dream about it. I can dream about it. In any case, the fragrance that I would wear for that formal occasion would be Blackbird by UNTAMED Perfumes. Now, if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know that this is pretty much, well, this is my favorite fragrance of the year. Like, I just love it. So it essentially, it's a spicy rose with some woody notes in it. So that's primarily what you're getting. I find it to be extremely sexy. It smells opulent, elegant, old money type vibes to me. Yeah, super rich and luxurious. I think really whenever you put rose with the woods and the spices, you can't beat it. This one's super long lasting. So you put it on, it's going to last all night. In fact, you need to be a little bit careful. Otherwise you may offend someone with the power of this thing. But honestly, it's just a beautiful, classy fragrance, definitely unisex. And it's, you know, that rose wood spice combo. It's just delicious. I would say that rose is definitely the star of the show. But then also the sandalwood and the spices. There's enough sweetness in there that it feels, I don't know, just a little bit richer because of the sweetness. Sometimes, you know, the sandalwood or the woody notes can kind of get overpowering, but I feel like there's a little bit of sweetness somehow in there that just works really well to make it just feel super kind of decadent. So love this fragrance, and I think it would be perfect for the formal affair. Next occasion is that one where you're going out with your girlfriends. You may be staying in. It may be like one of those parties where you bring an appetizer and you're sitting around in your cozies visiting. It may be that you've gone to a restaurant, you're all having a glass of wine and maybe some appetizers. I would wear Sweet Addict by OAKCHA, which is their inspired version of Love Don't Be Shy by KILIAN. So Love Don't Be Shy by KILIAN is essentially a beautiful kind of orange blossom fragrance, definitely heavy on the orange blossom, but also with kind of this, I don't think it has marshmallow in it, but it feels like marshmallow. So you get this kind of marshmallowy, sugary sweetness in it. It feels kind of fluffy. So this one is just, I just think it's really pretty. I don't know, like I know some people find this to be really sexy. I don't find it overly sexy. Maybe guys do. Like my husband, he's not a huge fragrance fan, so I don't know if he would know what he would consider sexy or not sexy. He just knows what he likes kind of thing. This one to me is quite floral. But yeah, like I said, with that kind of marshmallow feel, it just feels kind of happy, a little bit girly, feminine, but still quite mouth-watering with that kind of marshmallowy feel. Yeah, like I wasn't a huge fan of this to begin with because I got more orange blossom, but the more I've smelt it, the more I pick up on the kind of sugary marshmallowy feel. So to me, it just feels like fluffy kind of petals with kind of marshmallow dust on it. That's kind of what you get for this. So I just think it would be great. It's kind of celebratory, and that's perfect for going out with the girls. Next is, I don't know, maybe it's not a party, it's an occasion, but you can make it a party. It's a date night with your significant other. And I would choose Wanted Girl by AZZARO. It's intoxicating. It's just a rich, sweet fragrance. There's some dulce de leche in it, and you definitely get that in the dry down. It's relatively long lasting too. It's a bit flirty, but also just really sexy. I can see that guys would really like this because of the sweetness factor. And it's kind of one of those ones that kind of invites a little bit of a getting in, nuzzling up close, and maybe doing a little bit of a nibble. So I think that this one is perfect for a date night. And like I said, it's long lasting, but not super overpowering. So you could put it on, go out for your evening, and then it's mellowed out, and then perfect for dessert time. So definitely Girl Wanted by AZZARO for a date night. That would be what I'm wearing. Any sort of daytime party where it's kind of a little bit more informal, casual, I would actually choose Girl of Now Shine by ELIE SAAB. Now, I do really enjoy Girl of Now. It's essentially orange blossom paired with pistachio and almond. That's what you're getting. So it smells rich, warm, nutty. Now, the Shine adds just a hint more juiciness with a pineapple note. So you're getting a little more pineapple, and then the pistachio is kind of pared down. If you love the Boom Boom Creams by Sol de Janeiro, you would love Girl of Now and Girl of Now Shine, I think. Yeah. So this one, I love that pineapple note. It just adds a little bit of a mouth-watering quality. The pineapple feels a little bit more cooked. And then paired with the almond and the pistachio and the orange blossom, it's just very mouth-watering. But what I love about this one is it feels warm and inviting, slightly cozy, kind of comforting. So to me, this is a very wonderful fragrance. And like, I think about a hostess when I smell this one. So if you like to host those types of parties, this one is so warm and inviting. It feels like a cozy hug. So I just think that this one would be perfect for kind of those daytime festive occasions. Maybe your kid has a school thing that you're going to. Maybe you're hosting a luncheon or something like that. This would be perfect. Thinking again about daytime, I think of office party. So if I had an office party to go to, what I would choose to wear is IDOLE NECTAR by LANCOME. Now, this one has similar DNA to the IDOLE, but what I love about this one is that it has some peony in there. It's very quite sweet, feminine, but it also has popcorn and kind of a caramely feel to it, like caramel covered popcorn in the dry down. So there's a little hint of sensuality in this, but it's still very appropriate for the workplace. So it's a little bit of a you know, I think about some girl and she's like all fixed up and has her hair put back in a nice bun and stuff like that. She's got her glasses on and that's her daytime look. And then the office party comes and the hair kind of comes out and she kind of loosens the bow on her blouse and kicks it up a notch. She could wear IDOLE NECTAR. So it would take her from daytime into evening, super long lasting too. Like, I'm impressed with the longevity of this. And as you know, the day wraps up, the fragrance definitely starts to morph and get a little more sensual, a little bit sexy, a little bit naughty. So it would work well to be in that celebration mode, but still work in the office place. So love, love, love this fragrance. The next occasion I think of is, of course, Christmas Eve. Now, everybody is different. Some people, Christmas Eve is really casual. Maybe they go to a party. For us, Christmas Eve was rather formal. So I came from a more traditional Norwegian background. So we would dress up and we had like a 5-course meal and yeah, it was a whole production. That's actually when we opened Christmas presents. Was Christmas Eve, which I honestly miss because I always thought it was fun. Nevertheless, You know, Christmas Eve is slightly different for different people. So if it was a more informal occasion for Christmas Eve, I would pick I Don't Need a Prince by My Side to Be a Princess, or just Princess by KILIAN. This fragrance is a matcha tea fragrance with marshmallow. So it feels super warm, it's sweet, it's feminine. You definitely get that kind of powdery feel from the matcha and the marshmallow. It's just, it kind of makes my mouth water. There's a richness to it as well, but it's just kind of a warm, cozy, slightly flirty fragrance. It feels celebratory to me, so I think that Princess would be a great option if your occasion is a little less formal, little more relaxed. I would choose Princess. For me, what I would wear for a more formally type Christmas Eve is L'Interdit by Givenchy. So if you've got a party to go to, if you're dressing up, for me, we're staying with family, but I still like to make it a little bit more formal in my fragrance, I would pick L'Interdit Rouge by Givenchy. Now this one, it still has the tuberose from the original Eau de Parfum, but this one has pimento, there's ginger, blood orange, so it's quite sexy. There's a little bit of spiciness to it. I feel like it tempers the tuberose down, you know, with that pimento and such. Tempers the tuberose down a little bit and just kind of amps up the sexy factor. So I just think it's very delicious. It's slightly indolic to me, but as it dries down on the skin, you know, it starts off a little bit spicy, and then as it dries down, it gives me a slight root beer vibe. And for a while I wasn't crazy about it. Now I'm just in love with it. So I love this one. I can't wait to wear it for Christmas Eve. Now for Christmas Day, I was trying to think of what I'd want to wear. I don't want to wear something super sexy. I don't want to wear something super in your face, but I want to wear something pretty. And so I would choose Nina Ricci's L'Extase. This one has a little bit of delectability in there because there's some caramel, which I get right off the bat. This is just a gorgeous rose-centric fragrance. It's got the rose in it. It feels very feminine. You get that floral component, but then there's just a hint of caramel in there, which makes it like quite sexy. So I really love this one. I just think that this, when I think of this scent, it's like the epitome of femininity somehow to me. Not quite sure why, but yeah, like there's some fragrances where I'm like, I smell it. Oh. Okay, I know why this reminds me of the epitome of femininity. It reminds me of my mom. I think my mom is a very feminine, classy woman. Well, I know she's a feminine, classy woman. And this, when I smell this, in fact, it's one of the reasons, like, no offense, Mom, but it's one of the reasons why I didn't, I kind of went, no, I'm not into it at first, because it instantly reminded me of my mom. And not that that's a bad thing, but I just didn't really want to smell like my mom, you know what I mean? But then I fell in love with the fragrance, but it kind of always, when I smell this is the one fragrance that makes me think of her quite often. So I think that's why I think it's like the epitome of femininity. It's a very classy fragrance. It's understated. It's quite elegant. And to me, it's perfect for, you know, when you want to smell good, but you don't want to really necessarily, like, the perfume isn't the star of the show. It's spending time with family and whatnot. So this will make you smell beautiful. It'll make you smell feminine. It projects a little bit, but it's not an over projector. The performance is moderate. So that to me is perfect for a big celebration where you're all kind of in a close proximity. This one is perfect. So this is what I'll be wearing for Christmas Day. Now, the next party I think of is a skiing party, a sledding party. You go, you have fun on the hills. I used to love sledding. I was crazy on the sleds. Like, I would go down on my stomach. We did crazy things. Well, I've always been a little bit insane when it comes to things like that, but loved sledding for a long time until I got to the place where it created more aches and pains than anything. But I love skiing, and skiing is something I actually haven't done for many years because I had a really bad skiing accident, got a severe concussion, ripped up my nose. Like, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but I got a bit of a scar here. Maybe you can't see it. I think you can. So this was from a skiing accident, and it basically ripped all the skin off my nose and it was hanging down. So it was super nasty. So I haven't skied since, but lately the longing has come back. I want to ski. Like I want to ski. So if I were to do that, you come home, you put the fire on, you're all cozy, you get your hot chocolate and your marshmallows. I would be wearing By the Fireplace by MAISON Margiela. This one is primarily a vanilla fragrance, but it's got gaiac wood, and the gaiac wood creates a bit of smokiness. So it feels like it's on fire. So it smells like a fire blazing. It's got kind of a marshmallowy vanilla feel, and then there's chestnuts in there. So there's a woody component, well, plus that gaiac wood. So I think it's really tasty. It's really soft, warm, and inviting. So really, really enjoy this one. I think the other one that I would be tempted to wear when I got home perhaps would be something like the Hugo Boss, the scent Private Accord, because it smells a little bit like a By Terry's chocolate orange, and you can never go wrong with that. Like, you just can't go wrong with it. The only problem is that one just doesn't last long enough. I wish they would improve the longevity on it because it's such a gorgeous fragrance, but it just doesn't last. So anyway, if I went on that sledding trip, it would either be By the Fireplace or Hugo Boss, the scent Private Accord, which I have in my bedroom, but just don't want to go get. Now, the last festive occasion that I can think of, maybe I'm not that creative. Maybe people have tons of parties, but the last one that I could think of is New Year's Eve. Now, New Year's Eve is the night that everyone celebrates unless you're so jaded that you can't anymore. Sometimes I wonder if I'm there, but overall, I really still enjoy celebrating New Year's Eve. The fragrance that I would choose, I think of party. I think of bringing in the new year with a big, huge bang. And so I think of Scandale by Night by Jean-Paul Gaultier. Now this one, like, first of all, the legs say party, like full on party, like, woo, party. So love that, love the legs. I love the legs on these. I love the Jean-Paul Gaultier bottles. They're slightly cheeky, and I just think they're cool. Anyway, this fragrance, it's absolutely delicious. It smells like, it really legitimately smells like kind of a cross between a maraschino cherry and a slightly darker cherry. So it's like a little bit darker of a cherry than a maraschino. But then you take that cherry, you kind of soak it in booze for a while, and then you submerge it in liquid honey. And all the liquor and the cherry gets kind of infused into the honey. And then throw some, I think it's tuberose in this one, or primarily tuberose. I don't know, the floral isn't the standout. It's definitely that cherry and that honey. This one is super sweet. It's pretty potent. It's quite sexy, like kind of unapologetically sexy. That would be Scandale by Night. Even the legs are literally unapologetically sexy. But yeah, I really, really enjoy this one. I rarely talk about this one. I'm not quite sure why. Definitely prefer it over the original Scandale. Scandale, the honey is too indolic and it smells like pee on my skin as it dries down. Like, I love the opening of it, but as it dries down, not so good on me. This honey works for me. So I don't know if it's because it's paired with those other things. I think this one also has some pear in it, because the cherry feels in the opening feels slightly fresh. And then as it dries down, it gets a little bit more sexy, a little bit more decadent. But the honey isn't as cloying as what's in the original Scandale. So really, really enjoy this one. If you like Scandale à Paris, this one, you'll like it as well, for sure. If you like So Scandal, you may not like this one because it definitely has more honey. This would definitely be my New Year's Eve fragrance. And that is it. Those are my festive occasions, my Christmas fragrances, the things that I'd be wearing to holiday parties. What about you? What would you choose? Please leave it in the comment. What is your go-to fragrance for all your holiday parties? Please leave it for us to enjoy. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing week, and I hope you have fun at your parties. Don't get stressed. I think the problem in this time of year is that there can be so much going on that it gets feeling stressful. And so what I try to do is go, okay, it's going to be busy for a short period of time. And during that time, I'm going to make a point of really enjoying every encounter that I have and really enjoy the people. Because that's what it's about. It's about celebrating with other people that make our lives richer. So rather than getting stressed out about if I'm putting on the party, that the party is perfect, rather than getting stressed out about how I look, what I'm wearing, all of that kind of stuff, although the perfumes are a big deal. Enjoy spending time with the people that make your life rich. So anyway, hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.